Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you all are doing amazing. But I am not. You know what happened? मैं अभी वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कर रहा था इससे पहले. मेरा कैमरा रिकॉर्ड हुआ है पूरा, मेरी ऑडियो रिकॉर्ड हुई है पूरी. बट मैंने पूरी वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कर दी. मैं कैमरा ऑफ किया अपना, मैं गया अपना, मैंने कहा देखता हूँ कि क्या मेरी स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड हुई है एंड व्हाट वाज द क्वालिटी एंड ऑल ऑफ द कंटेंट. आई गॉट द ब्लैक स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डेड. लेट मी शो यू. हेलो. Can you see this? I didn't get any clips. मेरी वीडियो रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं हुई भाई, मेरी स्क्रीन शेयर रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं हुई. और मैंने पूरी ये देखो 22 मिनट्स की वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करी, जिसमें से कुछ भी रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ. अब मैं फिर से रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ सब कुछ. इट्स द स्ट्रगल मैन, रियल स्ट्रगल. ओके, सो नो वरीज. So till last video we covered like we have 3 life cycles of our services for the DI, for registering the services. We have covered our singleton, we have covered transient. Now we are on what? Scope. Yeah. So in this video we'll talk about the scope. So scope is basically one instance will be created for your each HTTP request. So whenever you will make an HTTP request, it will create a new instance for that. This is for the scope. Okay. So let's see, we have singleton. So what if I declare this as a scope? Before making it a scope, let me do some changes. So we have this email client. So from now we will not use that random method we had earlier. So instead of this, let me create one public void increment, and yeah, this will do our email plus plus. And now this is our inv method. So what I will do, I'll go to controller. Before returning, I want to let me inject our email client as well. Yep, we have this email client, and here I want to, before returning, I want increment. Okay. So when I say one request for each, or one instance for each HTTP request lifeline, which means if I declare this as scoped, let me declare this as scoped and making this as transient. So come back to our diagram. Let me see if yeah. Thank God I have this. So are we at good? Yeah, we have transient for email service. We have client scope. Perfect. And this is our 0. So whenever we'll make for each HTTP request, a scope will be for the complete HTTP request. The scope, the instantiation of the scoped service will be same. Okay. So control will come here. Do I have laser here? Yeah. So request will come from here. It will go to controller, make brand new for the transient, for the email service as well, because this is transient, but it has a dependency of email client. It will go here. For this HTTP request, the email client we have here or here, the same instance will be shared, will not create two instances, like for the controller or for the here email client. So for this one HTTP request, the same client or same object instantiation will be used. Okay. So let me go here and run this file. .net run. So output what output we will get here? We are getting 1. Why? Let's see. Let's debug this. New request. So when it created the object of that service, when it instantiated the object of our email client, the initial value was 0. Okay. So before returning it, just increment the value 1 because we have this increment method. And for this increment, because this is the email client, and for this send a sync because it also using the email client. For both these we are using the same object, same instance. So that's why we are getting the 1 each time, because single request, for each HTTP request, single instance is shared. Okay. So what if I make this as transient, or let me make this as scoped and this as transient? So what will be the output? 0. Earlier we getting the 111, now we are getting 0. Why? Because email service is scoped, but for transient we are creating the new instance. This time our email controller client will get new instance which got incremented here. Here the value got 1. Okay. But after this, when we instantiate the object of here inside send a sync for the email client, because it is registered as transient, so we got the 0 because at that time increment method did not call. Okay. So if I make this scoped and make this scoped as well, so what will be the output? I think we have covered this scenario earlier. And what left? Transient and scoped. I think we have covered this as well. And if I made both the transient, we have covered that as well. What if I made this as scoped and this as transient? What will be the scenario like? अगर मुझे इसका चाहिए स्कॉप्ड का सेम इसका बनता रहे, तो इसको मैं ट्रांजिएंट इसको सिंगलटन कर सकता हूँ. Okay, so if I want this to be increment, so what we can do, we can make this scoped and make this as singleton, because what we want, if you go here, I want this could be transient, this could be transient, don't worry. And if we make this as singleton, so same, whenever the call will become here, it will return the same first one object of that, the first instantiation of that. So let me make this as singleton and let me run this. but I have to make this as transient as well, na? Because that scoped will be for each HTTP request, it will be changed. So I have to fix this as well. I'll go here. Yep, we are getting this. Now, I have a question for you. If I make this as a singleton and if I make this as scoped, so what will be the output? It will throw an exception that you cannot call scoped from the singleton. Cannot consume scoped services from singleton. So this is a question for you, like why we cannot call scope from the singleton. You have to check this and drop a comment below. I'll read those comments. So be sure to comment it down, drop a comment why we cannot consume scoped from the singleton. So this is question for you. Let me check this time screen is getting recorded or not. Yeah, it's getting recorded. Okay. So now if you observe here, we are just defining direct concrete class here, like for the which contains actual the implementation. But in real world we generally we don't dependent on these classes, and what DI says that the higher level components should not be directly dependent on lower level modules. So for that, like we must declare some interfaces, and those interfaces will, and these classes will implement those interfaces. So let me explain what I'm trying to say. So for this, like we have email service. So here we are injecting the email client. I'll not directly inject this email client. I will inject I email client, and the and what implementation this I email client will have, that I will define here. So as of now, let me complete this first. So here we have I email client. Let me first create this inside clients. Okay, and namespace, it will be di playground dot clients. So it will be public interface, and it has one method email client, which is string. What is has, let me see, string get email. Okay, so this will have string get email, and my email client will be implement this I email client. And now just remove this, I don't want this. And from here, like I want to return simply a string, which is abc@domain.com. Perfect. So this is good, we are good here. And so now our email client is completed, and here we are using the email client. I don't want increment, so let me remove this. One sec. And let me remove this client as well. I will go to my service. I have this email client. Perfect. So now, but I have to make change here as well, like I email client. So what I am trying to say here, now this I email client will implement or contain the implementation of this class. Suppose you have any other email client. This is when you have I email client 2, email 2 client, or any other implementation for the client email. So what you can do, like for the different environments, if you go here, like builder dot environment, अगर आपका डेवलपमेंट है तो आप यहाँ पे डिफाइन कर सकते हो कि मेरी सिंगलटन आई ईमेल क्लाइंट or instead of email client you can do email client 3, email client 4, or whatever. They both contains the same interface, but they both have different implementations here. Okay, so tomorrow you want to change your email client, so you don't need to change or make changes inside everything like your email service and all those. You will just implement this get email logic or inject another implementation which contains the logic of get email, and your work is done. Your job is done. You don't need to make changes in everywhere inside every file. Okay, you have to just define or register that dependency with that interface. Okay, and same for the email service. Let me do this as well. Let me declare I email service. I will create quickly one I email service dot cs, and namespace will be your di dot services public interface I email service. It will contain string send async, but this does not contain any parameter. And I will go to email service, and inside my controller I will change this to I email service. And now I have to make change into my email service as well. This was just for to explain you how you can use different implementations without touching the code everywhere. Just add your new implementation and inject that into your di. Okay, so same we do for the email service, like I email service, and it will have the implementation of this email service. Perfect. Now let me try to run this. We got exception. Some services not be able to constructed like your I email service lifetime. Okay, yeah. Let me change this to transient. Okay, we are getting the output. It's perfectly fine. It's working. And one more thing, suppose now you have only these two services, like your clients and your email service. Just assume you have 10 services or 20 services. What you will do? You will define all those services here like this builder.add services. Nope. If you are working on a small project, it's okay to define all your services and dependencies here. You can register your services here, but it's a good practice to have this in a separate file. Don't clutter here. Okay. When you will work on a huge code base, you will always find that they all has their own like you can define like service collection extension.cs, and it will have namespace of your di only, and here you can define one static class which will be your service collection extension, no pipeline. And yep, you will define this and you can give it a name as install services, and here you can do this. And what you can do here you can do services, enter, add singleton. Here you can define your email services and all those. Do I have email client, or it will contain this? I can add as a singleton, which is your email service, which will take email service. Okay, so you can define by, you can register all those services here in install services, and you can remove all the dependencies registrations here. What you can do, you can use builder dot add builder dot services dot what was name, install services. That's all. Remove this extra using statements and your job is done. If you will try to run this, you will get the same output, and you can see how your startup or program.cs is clean now. It's better to read. We can easily maintain it. We can easily debug this. So it's better to have a separate file for your DIs. You can give it a name as dependency injection as well for instead of service collection extension. So this is as per your convenience. You can give whatever name, but give some reasonable names. Now, if you will work on any specific architectures or microservices, you will see that there they have layers like your infrastructure layer, your data access layer, and you will have your REST API layers as well. So inside each layer, you will have one file called installer. And what is the responsibility of that installer? The work you are doing here, these all will be, these all will come under one umbrella called installer. And this installer or the install services, like suppose you have install your uh, infrastructure, and this actual file your in service collection extension, suppose here you have your file public static class service collection extension, and this will contain like your infrastructure. I'm not actually writing here. It will have your infra, it will have your install db or data access, it will contain all your REST APIs, or you want to install something else. So all those come under this umbrella, and this will come under install services. And inside you will only inject this install services in your program.cs, and these all will come under your each layer that contains the di or installer class that will contain these all uh, service injection or your registration of all these services. I hope you enjoyed. So we have completed our DI series. If I missed anything here, drop a comment, or if you have doubt anything on previous videos, so drop comment there, or drop a comment here with the title or a topic name, so I'll try to make it more clear if I could. And so yeah, that's all for this video. If you find these videos or series useful, do like the videos, share it with your friends or colleagues, and if you are new to my channel, do subscribe and press that bell notification for the latest updates. Until next time, bye bye.